It's safe to say in 2014, if you bought a PlayStation 4, the first thing that you would have bought for the console was The Last of Us Remastered. I mean, The Last of Us is one of the best games ever made, especially story-wise. It's, even on the box, over 200 Game of the Year awards. Unbeknownst to us, we were not getting The Last of Us Part 2 until 6 years later in June of 2020. The Last of Us 2, while being a great continuation of the original story and adding in so many new elements to the game, still copped a fair bit of criticism by people who didn't understand how character motivation, plot, or women work. But the first game was still very highly regarded and considered flawless for many people. That is, until Naughty Dog decided they wanted something that we YouTubers want more than anything else. Money. So it was announced not long ago that we would be getting a Last of Us Part 1, a remake of the original game with elements from Part 2 brought over, such as the more high-fidelity models and lighting engine. So this is really the first time the first game had ever been ridiculed. Most people said that we didn't really need a remake, considering we only got one last gen. Some were criticizing the faces of the in-game models, saying that they didn't look one-to-one to how they originally did. And a couple people went so far to say that Naughty Dog was being lazy by just reskinning the first game. But to be fair, this is a remake from the ground up. And I'm sure working on all those really high-fidelity assets from all the flashback sequences in Part 2 really made it a no-brainer to go back and remake the first one. So the day before the release, I decided to go on stream and have a look at some of the comparisons between the old version and the new version, and listen to a couple of reviews from people that got early copies. I ended up getting sidetracked and looking at a little bit of Spider-Man PS4 and PS5 comparisons as well, but rest assured we do talk about The Last of Us. If you like this kind of content, you can catch it live over at my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Mitchted, where I live stream whenever I feel like it. This is something very new to me. I don't often do post-commentary or intro videos like this, so if you do enjoy it, feel free to thumbs up the video and subscribe, because it really, really helps me out. Anyway, on with this. Thank you. But just before we get started on this, I've just seen this, right? I've just seen, not my YouTube channel, I've seen this for a while. This is, thank you, Drew. I won't curse, This is what I was planning on doing today. This is what I was planning on streaming today. The Last of Us Part 1. But, that comes out tomorrow instead of today. So here's two clips. This is Susie's, the Sphere Hunter's, Twitter, but this video came from, Young's review of The Last of Us Part 1. This stinks. I don't like this. So, like, as you can kind of see there, the remastered one. But here's the clip. Again. So you cut through this door, boom, big pick, there's a big sound effect, there's camera shake. And then there's a regular door opening sound effect. Which, I think, if I remember this right, this is really early on in the game, and Joel wants to fucking kill this guy, wherever he is. He wants to fucking murder him. Oh, sorry, no cursing. Shit. I didn't even make it like a full minute. Oh, good lord. That's so stupid. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Joel wants to hecking kill this guy. He's flipping the flip out, dude. And then it's just kind of this. The original, I think the door animation's different too. Cool. Yeah, it's got less in-betweens there. Kind of goes straight in, but then regular door opening animation. Bit weird. I will probably still buy it. I might hold off though, just because it is $100. And I already own the remaster. The graphical fidelity, you can tell has been improved. Because look at this place and then look at that. Like, this looks amazing. I won't deny it looks good. But, am I going to spend $100? Literally $100. Hold on. I don't even think The Last of Us Part 2 was that much. But yeah, look, $99 flat. Now, unless... This is where we get everything here in Australia, JB Hi-Fi. Because if you go to EB Games, what would EB Games be selling it for? Oops, spelled that wrong. Whoa, you can get little figures? That's cool. Maybe if we spell this right. Oh my god! Holy shit. Hold on, wait, what can I pre-order together with it? Oh, Marvel Midnight Suns Legendary Edition. Oh, classic! That's what I wanted! This entire time, that is what I wanted. But no, this is disgusting to look at. The only other game that I think I've paid this much for was Miles Morales. And that was because that also came with the PS5 remaster of Spider-Man. But this is kind of ridiculous. JB Hi-Fi does kind of do a thing where they drop the price maybe by like $10 for day one purchases. But maybe I'll hold off until I watch a proper review of it. Okay. There's going to be spoilers for Last of Us Part 1 Remake if you're interested in getting it. So we'll just have a look and I'll kind of give my thoughts on beating Last of Us 1 Remake by Young Ye.
So
I really like this guy. He used to cover a lot of Metal Gear Solid stuff when, Metal Gear Solid was an active IP. Yeah, there's spoilers for The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 1.
Last of Us is a pretty special game for me.
It looks spectacular though. Like I won't deny that the graphical fidelity
in my list of top 10 games of all time.
Spectacular.
I think it set a new bar for character-driven cinematic storytelling in video games, and Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker.
Okay, graphics-wise, it doesn't look fantastic. Sorry, graphics-wise, it looks fantastic. I still have to get used to the new Alley, just because I'm so attached to the old one. But, I haven't really seen a lot of other examples of the other characters, so that's what I'm hoping to get from here. I really like new Joel, but he looks so different from old Joel.
Inspired me to pursue voice.
So, kind of a similar issue, I think, that this has is with Spider-Man PS5, because obviously they changed the face model. So, actually, this one. So there's a lot of stuff that they changed. I know this game basically inside and out, but there's a lot that they changed here. Obviously, they changed just the faces. I still can't decide which one I think is quote unquote better. Oh wow, they really changed that picture. That's a completely different image. Didn't know that. But this is just from the intro. I really don't care. I can understand the reasoning why they changed the oh wow, look at all the little notches in his wood table now. That's crazy. I can understand why they changed it to better fit Yuri Lowenthal's facial expression. Damn, even just the refractory of the light, that's crazy. I think they did change the time of day, so it's like late day. So I don't know why he's in bed now. Oh wow, they even changed the hand model. Look at that. I don't really know. I still can't really decide because I love this one. This is the one we obviously all spent the first game with. Why are these out of sync? Did you not double check your video before exporting? I feel like the one on the right's more expressive still. But the graphical fidelity on this one cannot be overstated. I think people just need to get used to it because, yeah, I don't see any other version of, like, I don't understand why you wouldn't play the PS5 version. Oh wow, yeah, no, even just here, the lighting looks so much better. It lights New York in a different way. I do kind of wish they added an early morning setting, so like the first thing he's doing is going and fighting crime. Because I don't know, I think that's cool. Let's see how this annoying one specific enemy cutscene. So he's got more hair. His hair has changed. Instead of like this spiked up, it's more actual hair. You got more glints in his irises. Because you don't own a PS5. Oh, that's one. Yeah, well, yes. Okay, true. That is factual. If you don't own a PS5, that is one reason why you wouldn't be playing this game. Damn, even his teeth kind of look the same. I was gonna say his teeth got better, but that's one of the funny things with like low quality models. Is looking at their teeth is always really funny because they never get as good as treatment, obviously. I thought they made the cop white. Wow. Okay. That's, I mean, it is NYPD, so it wouldn't surprise me. The flares. Some of the lens flares are a bit overdramatic. This makes more sense. I like the lighting here better. I do understand that, like, oh, actually, I don't understand. One of the things that I had more glitches with was the PS5 version. I understand. I was like, yeah, kind of, but the like it's got more defined. He's just lit wrong. See, he's lit with like 2 lights here, but he's lit with 1. I agree. He should probably be lit with 1 here. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to articulate there. But he's too dark in this version. See, this is better. With this pose, he's so much more lit accurately. Or not accurately, but just well. But they didn't have that. So I think their whole idea was... Also, some of the shadows in this game are just too much. Like the one scene that they showed off from every... I can unmute this now. The one scene that they showed off from every E3 trailer, the Demon's helicopter fight. The shadows in that are fucking terrible, and I can't believe that they didn't go and change that for the PS5 edition. Are we gonna get any other comparisons for the actual face model? This is just in general comparison. Go work for them? Well, yeah, I would say something. I would go, oh, guys, we can't be doing this. So this is PS4. I'm only complaining because I love this game so much, like genuinely. Like I put so many hours into this game.
Hello again.
And this was the suit I played the most with. I won't even lie. This looks really nice. I know, but at the time it was like... It was the only movie suit, so if you wanted to feel like a movie character, like this is all you had.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, look at all that shadow. Like it just looks like it's difficult to see him. Like find details.
No.
And I remember, I don't know, maybe it doesn't look as dark here, but maybe it isn't. Maybe they changed it. But this is, let's show the actual scene. It's just that some of the shadows seemed way too dark. It looks like they changed it. Or maybe it's just a setting wrong with maybe my television. Oh yeah, because that looks so much better. Okay, maybe I don't actually have a complaint. Maybe I don't actually have a complaint then. Maybe I'm lying on the internet.
Improved? How much has the gameplay been touched up? How much of an impact do these things have on the overall experience?
I don't think I should play with
enough
the
to make
Scarlet
the
Spider.
asking price of $70 worth it? Which I'll
Also, I'm not sure if Joe, you were here for this, but this is the price of The Last of Us in Australia. It's literally $100, and it's $125 if you get it at EB Games.
We'll
Which
get
definitely
to more
isn't worth
towards
it.
the end. Immediately go back to The Last of Us Remastered to see how...
It's bullshit. I wish I could. I mean, hold on? What's the exchange rate? 70 USD to AUD. Oh, okay. So it's $102. So technically, we're paying less, but still, I think it's really shitty. Like it is impossible. 70 is what we've been paying for games from like last generation. See, I like this more. In terms of like color, I think that this looks fantastic because you've got like these really nice reds from the bricks and these really like lush greens. But it's all kind of washed out in this one, or at least obscured by light. I don't know if that's a lighting thing, and when you get further into the like shadows, like your eyes adjust in game. But, whoa! He is way overexposed there. I hate overexposure in games. It just doesn't make any sense. Just make the game look good without having to put in, like, things that people would actually deal with. I don't know how to describe it. Whoa! That's a, that is a massive jump. Look at all the foliage they've added. Look at all the leaves. That's very impressive. I think depth is a major issue that older games lack. Not like in depth of gameplay, but just visuals. Like sometimes the worlds feel a little bit flat, but I think that's something like. Hold on, I imagine this is going to be fucking crazy. Never mind. that wasn't too crazy. What is this comparing though? Oh, I don't know. Oh, so this is part when it says part 1, that's PS5. When it says remastered, that's the remaster for the PS4. I assume it's running on Pro. Also, Last of Us benefits so much from the just the density of like actual like spores and like dirt in the air. And got The Last of Us 2 gore. That was something that really confused me about Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 remake, is it didn't have the procedurally generated gore effects, which is what made 2 so fun to play. Yeah, he's dead.
Small details like dust and snow subtly smothering the camera add a nice little cinematic touch, and everything comes together to contribute to a greater sense of immersion compared to the original.
I don't like
game.
shit on the camera.
The game performs
that's one
beautifully
thing that I
too,
can't
and grants
stand.
the option between a 40 frames per second fidelity mode and a 60 frames per second performance mode. I went with the latter as I personally couldn't tell enough differences between the two.
I think that's good. I think if you can't tell a difference, I think you've done a good job in at least your art direction. I think performance ray tracing on Spider-Man and Miles Morales is fantastic. Death Stranding also has an excellent mode with that.
Justify sacrificing some frames, but I do love that they went with a 40 FPS minimum instead of the usual 30. Subtler is how audio design has been tweaked and bolstered across the board, with soundscapes and sound effects feeling richer, better tuned, and with more spatial awareness.
I think this if they had a fucking Metal Gear Solid game, that would sell anyone to go, okay, I'm going to go and buy a PS5. Like from the ground up. Like just fucking buy the Sony is so massive. They can go and buy the IP and just put it across either make it a PlayStation 5 exclusive or put it across every single console under PlayStation Studios, put it on PC, and it's just like so good because I would love to have all this shit. I'd love to have 3D audio. I would love to have all these little graphical improvements for a Metal Gear Solid game. Like, Christ. But no,
all
he's
the
right. The
learnings from
soundscapes
The
are
Last
really
of Us
good.
Part 2 applied to the entirety of Last of Us 1, and it's done to great effect. And if continuity is something you care about, Last of Us Part 1's visuals flow right into Part 2 without stark contrast in visual style or fidelity.
Yes, yes, finally, everything connects, guys. Everything connects. Now, the surgeon will always be wearing blue and be clean instead of green and dirty. I am so happy. I don't like that though. Unironically, I think that if you make stuff look too nice in the apocalypse, then you're kind of missing the point. Which is why that scene I prefer in the original, in the
They
remaster.
even brought things in from Part 2, like the detailed weapon crafting and upgrading animations, or the first-person view of notes and collectibles you pick up throughout the game, none of which were featured in the original.
That's kind of nice. Wow, look at the texture quality on that.
Characters especially feel a lot more expressive in the remake. The more detailed character models certainly help with that, but
God, it's crazy trying to, like, remembering that these are PS3 characters. Like, that's insane. Like, it's really impressive, the upgrade that they have there. Look, this guy's got a hat on now. Good
you
for him.
pair that with the characters' faces have during bigger moments. Characters just
Wow, that's really drastic. Unless they
how
change
much
the
more
camera angle.
elastic-
Like, her head seems... She seems, like, longer. Is that right? Like, she's taking up more of the frame. I remember this one was a big one that people were complaining about on Twitter when it first got revealed. But like, look at the buttons on her shirt. Like, that's crazy. With the textures on her, she's still got them all. Still got that one. I don't know. I don't see. Maybe it's because they go, oh, they look too old now. But I don't know. I never really get a sense of how old they were supposed to be in the first game. So maybe that's just on me.
Characters just look.
I'm really
less
bad.
like
I'm
video
really
game 3D models.
really bad at that. Kind of like a little side tangent. I'm really bad at trying to figure out like how old characters are supposed to be. Because unless it's explicitly stated, I'll just go, oh, they're like my age. They're like my age, and they're running around doing all this fucking superhero zombie shit.
And more like proper humans. Now, the remake's enhancements do result in characters looking a bit different than how you may remember them from the original game. It's fair to say that the art style has shifted a bit from the original Last of Us to Part 2 because the graphics just got way more realistic. Characters are still recognizable, but they definitely don't look exactly the same as they originally did. And Part 1 adopts the character art style of Part 2, and this is one area where I can see some folks arguing whether they prefer.
Is it really an art style if you're going for something more realistic? Wouldn't that just be realism? Because there's not really a way, like, if you showed me the top 5, like, most realistic looking games and then tried to compare them to Last of Us Part 1 or Part 2, is there really a point? Because it's all fundamentally going for the exact same style, which is real life. So I don't know if you can distinctly call it your own art style, unless it comes to something specifically like, oh, this is how we design the zombies.
Prefer the look of a character in the original game.
But then again, even RE is far more stylized than a typical realistic thing. I'd love to see them actually do like a third person. That's why I can't wait for 4. I think 4's gonna really reshape how we think the rest of the RE series is going to be from here on out. Because they're not going to do 5 and they're not going to do 6 unless they drastically overhaul them. Also because they are so recent. But you know, we're never going to get an RE remake game that looks like this, because they're always kind of going a little bit far
over the updated remake version.
A little bit more stylized.
Tess, for example, is among the characters whose face does look noticeably different, but even Joel and Ellie's appearance have been slightly adjusted. Now, for my part, I've gotten pretty used to the slight visual and stylistic adjustments and overall prefer how much more detailed characters look and move in Part 1. Their moment-to-moment emotions just...
Trying to see more difference. So they've put more grey in his beard, definitely, and I think they've changed his eyes as well. That was one of the main things. He
come
He
across
just
far
he
more
just looks
prominently and
different.
naturally.
I wouldn't even say weird.
Unlike
He
in the
definitely
original
looks
Last of
better.
Us,
But
cutscenes
like,
are not pre-rendered. They happen in-engine in real time, and that makes transitions between cutscene and gameplay way more
I
seamless.
do like that.
Is it?
And even
That's
in-engine,
one of my
the
that's one of my
amount
favorite
detail
things
in the cutscenes
of Miles Morales and Spider-Man is that they took out all the loading. And that's literally been the best part of it. Is you just don't have to wait for anything to load. I like the new details
Minutia
here
like
as well.
drops of tears dripping from a character's nose, or sprays of spit expelling from the mouths of exasperated characters.
Ew. I don't like that. That's
Or
disgusting.
flesh and muscle spasms emanating from tense situations make an impactful difference. It's the little things, you know?
Alex seems too different here. Actually, you know what? I think it's the forehead. I think the forehead's too big.
Some of the cinematography has also been reworked and altered a bit, with certain camera angles being a little different from the original. Now, visual enhancements are given with a remake, but what about gameplay?
This is the main thing. I don't think I'm really gonna be fussed about what they do with the gameplay. If it's more like 2, whatever. Because I don't think that they really. It doesn't play fantastically. Number one, but like 2 is definitely more unique. So if it plays more like 2, I'll be happy. It looks like that's what they're going with. I tried replaying 1 after replaying 2, and the item system is just it's ugly because it has that like 2003 not 2013 like gritty aesthetic to the UI, which I really don't like. I like the more sleek stuff, but just because it's easier for my brain to process. But if they change the switching weapons to be more like that, then I'll be happy. I mean, it looks great. Oh, classic. I'm so glad they kept Ellie saying fuck off.
Thinking that The Last of Us Remastered felt a little dated when I went back to it after Part 1. It just didn't feel as good to play. Everything just felt a little clunky.
This feels really stiff.
I'm not saying that Part 1 is a gameplay revolution or that the original is just unplayable by comparison. Everything feels familiar overall, but at the same time the refinements are definitely perceivable. Now, one major missed opportunity was for Part 1 to implement mechanics introduced in Part 2, like going prone or melee dodging.
Bruh, fuck me. That's all you needed to add. That's all you needed to add. These features are so good in Part 2 because they actually make it that you can stealth.
The absence of prone was less of a big deal for me because The Last of Us 1's level design was built around not having prone as a maneuver, but the absence of a dodge button was sorely felt, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That dodge button
the dodge
all
button
the
does so
difference
much.
in enhancing melee combat in Part 2, turning it from a mindless button-mashing affair to something that actually required skill and finesse. There were so many instances in Part 1 where I instinctually hit a non-existent dodge button, where I was able to foresee an enemy's melee attack coming, but was unable to move out of the way or do anything about it. And it just feels like
that makes the gameplay so much more stiff. I would be surprised if they added it back in post-launch, but that needs to be something that needs to be added.
But I ultimately still found melee combat to be pretty mindless feeling in Part 1 as well. It was all about just mashing that square button. But with that said,
if there's not different elements for it, and I remember zombies in Part 2, they just had more stuff to do. They had more, like, they would intentionally try and dodge you and stuff. So that's why I think it's really disappointing.
Moment-to-moment gameplay and combat. Shots feel like they have more impact and weight. You have the ability to extensively customize camera sensitivity in a way that was lacking.
Honestly, look, these options are going to be the easiest thing. Or, not the easiest thing, but like the best thing going forward for this game, because the accessibility options in 2 were just brilliant. Because there was some stuff that you just couldn't do. Auto pickup? Auto pickup, are you kidding me?
Health, ammo count, item crafting, skill upgrades, etc. are all taken from the more refined Part 2. I also previously mentioned how weapon crafting has been changed to look like how it does in Part 2, but even things like powering up generators and opening safes have been adjusted similarly and imported from Part 2. Something else Naughty Dog emphasized in their marketing was...
It's kind of the same thing. I remember when this was revealed from Resident Evil 2 Remake, that they were importing stuff from Resident Evil 7. I don't understand why you would not. I don't understand people getting mad at that, because why would you just not... You spent all this work creating these really detailed animations and all these specific game mechanics. Why would you not port it to the next game that you made?
Improvements,
especially when it's in the same series.
AI, and yeah, I'd say that was noticeable too. Enemies generally felt more threatening to be a complete remake at that level. Instead, in the spectrum of remakes, I'd say it resides somewhere between Shadow of Colossus remake and Demon's Souls remake, somewhere in between there.
That's kind of important. I do think it is good to have these games remade and ported over, especially when they are kind of mainly story games like these, where the graphical fidelity and improved performances are really going to be, you know, the things that are going to keep people coming back for a long time. But I think that if you do it wrong or you do it too early, it's just not a point for it, really. I don't... Actually, you know what? Now I don't understand why they put out the remaster for the PS... I mean, I get it. I guess it was such a thing. But when did the remaster come out? Last of Us Remaster. That came out in 2014. Holy shit. Last of Us 2 came out in June 2020. Wow, that's a 6-year wait. I mean, I can understand. I totally get it. I totally understand that they may have wanted to... And wait, hold on. When did The Last of Us come out? Last of Us came out 2013. I can understand that they kind of wanted to hold people over until they did get to Last of Us Part 2. But,
one still features
that's crazy.
The same story, the same scenarios. What is ultimately a less feature-complete package will understandably turn some folks off. I think sticking with a $50 to $60 price point will attract less.
You know what? I think if this game... It needs to be cheaper. That's the issue. Like, I'm not fucking spending $99 on this. That's actually insane. Considering how much isn't in the game, and also the fact that it has been... like, this is the third time it's getting released. I think that's fucking insane. How much is Spider-Man PS5? Maybe I spell it correctly. I think this is 90 on Epic Games, which is kind of crazy, but I guess it is still like a fresh game. It did come out in 2018 though. Whoops, I clicked on a different video.
So The Last of Us revolutionized the experience. Now, if it's been some time since you played The Last of Us and have been itching to replay it, and if you want to experience the definitive and absolute best version of the game, both from a visual and gameplay standpoint, with enhancements that make enough of an impact on the overall experience, and you aren't too attached to the faction's multiplayer mode, then you won't be disappointed with this remake, which strikes a great balance of retaining the core experience while improving and modernizing many key elements. Last but not least, if you've never played The Last of Us...
Yeah, if you've never played it, I mean... There are more cheaper ways to play it, but I definitely understand this being maybe... I can't justify the price though. No one can justify that price. It's ridiculous. That is insane. But yeah, I probably will pick it up if there's a price drop. If JB Hi-Fi does their price drop of, you know, like $10. Then maybe I'll consider it.